Yes, Captain. Understood. We're on our way.
Let's go.
Let's go! Punch it, Tom!
Target acquired.
Get ready to jump!
We have to find inspiration. Let's go. We gotta move.
Hey, watch it!
Come on, George.
Right behind you, George.
Where's inspiration?
We're lost.
This way.
Where the hell is inspiration?
Let's do it, George.
Ladies and gentlemen, on your feet for the two legends, George and George. As you can see, they made a special effort to be here today.
All right, so let's get this party started. I'm going to start with Mr. George Noory. George, you were in the United States Naval Reserve for 9 years. You're a 3-time Emmy Award winner, and you host Coast to Coast AM. Take us back to your childhood, and how did you start all this on your journey?
Gosh, I was interested in UFOs since I was a kid. My mother brought me home a book called We Are Not Alone by Walter Sullivan, who was the New York Times science writer at the time. And she said, Georgie, read this. By the way, she just turned 97 Thursday. Still listens to the show and called me up a couple weeks ago and said, who's this George Knapp guy you keep talking about? But that book just changed my life, and I decided at that young age I wanted to get into broadcasting to uncover these kinds of stories. And I did, and here we are.
How about you, Mr. Knapp? You've got so many journalistic awards that we don't have time to go through them, but he's won many, many Peabody Awards, and he's done incredible work across many fields in journalism, including UFOs. What got you started in that, George?
A flip of a coin. I was a debate coach at UC Berkeley, was tired of being poor, and I met these crazy bartenders from Las Vegas who said, you know, you can speak and write, and you should get into television. We know a guy in Las Vegas who's in TV. I wanted to move to Hawaii. My girlfriend at the time, because I'm a hedonist basically, and my girlfriend at the time wanted to go to Las Vegas, so we flipped a coin, and literally flipped a coin and came to Las Vegas, and I tried to get into TV. In the meantime, I drove a taxi cab for a while. I finally got hired as a production assistant, doing like construction work at a TV station, the PBS station, and I'd go in every day and bug the news department, hey, I can write, I can do this and that. They finally got tired of me banging on the door, so they gave me a camera and just shoved me out and said, go, do something, leave us alone. And so I shot a story and wrote it, and the first people I'd met in Las Vegas were mobsters. They had helped me get this job as a taxi driver. My girlfriend was a cocktail waitress at a mob-owned joint. So I'm going through the news files in the news department there, and I see these guys in these stories about the mob and the mafia in Las Vegas. Hey, I know these guys. I know that guy, Joey and Tony, and so eventually, I bugged the news department enough where they had an open tryout for their anchorman. I figured, well, how hard could this be? I'd been there like 6 months, and I got it. I got the job. I mean, I didn't even own a suit at the time, but I did it for about a year, and I got hired away by KLAS, which was the premier news organization in Las Vegas, and still is. And I started at the bottom, and it's just such a great news town. But it was merely luck how I got into UFOs. It was again, just a pure stroke of luck that there was a place called Nellis Air Force Base and the Nevada test site and a little spot called Area 51 that would later play such a big role in my life.
Great.
And I got to tell you what an honor it is to be on stage with the finest UFO, UAP reporter in the country,
Appreciate
George
that.
Knapp.
Thanks, George. Thank you.
This guy is amazing.
Folks, we're going to bring out a microphone, so if you have questions, line up.
I think this mic's working.
Go ahead, Mark.
You can hear me? Okay.
Much better.
Hi, everybody.
Tell us your name and where you're
I'm
from.
Debbie from Riverside, California. And it sounds like the government, maybe they're dripping a little bit of information here and there, very slowly. But don't you think that the real information, we're all receptive here, but as far as the normies out in society, they probably don't know very much at all. Whether they care or not is another question, but what do you think really the information, true disclosure is going to come from? Maybe something like your show, George. Would you be willing to give out information like that, or do you think that you might
Oh,
be
if I get
pressured?
it, you'll get it first. Believe
Well,
me.
do
I'm
you
not
think
going to
there
hold
might-
back.
There might be pressure on you, like you say, could be pressure on the president. Are you worried about that?
In my broadcast career, Debbie, I have never been asked to hold back a story, ever.
Very good.
And they know if they do that, I'll go with it even faster to get the word out. But I'm not sure it's going to come from government, George.
From outside, maybe from them.
From them, it could be one day. What's taking them so long anyway?
I don't know. I don't know what the agenda is for they, whoever they are. But they seem to have been here a long time. They aren't really in much of a hurry. I mean, now we know a lot about their technology from recent leaks, the information that's come out over the past few years. And it seems like if they don't want to be seen, they're not seen. They can mask and camouflage. They appear at times, it's almost like a game of some kind. They seem to want to be seen. I think about the Tic Tac. You know, the Tic Tac 2004 off the coast of San Diego, and there's a giant nuclear carrier strike force right there. And the planes go by and they see the Tic Tac zipping around, and it looks up and reacts to Commander Fravor and Commander Underwood, and oh gosh, is there a Navy task force near here? And it's almost like a charade or a theater or something. Like I think that they allow us to see them, and they've been acclimating us to something for a long time. Their interest is in the planet and in us. We know from abductees and people who've had close to face-to-face encounters that they have an interest in us as humans. Why they haven't shown themselves, I don't know. But as Whitley Strieber has said to both of us, George, they are the true architects of the secrecy. It starts with them. And then it filters down to government. I think if you want to get into that, I'll tell you about the reasons I think our government has kept it secret and how. But if you want to ask that question.
You guys were just touching on the disclosure thing. What do you think about another head of state? Not necessarily our administration. What about another head of state if they came forward?
They're too afraid, Ron, to come forward. This is leaked out only because President Trump doesn't want to hold back on anything.
I think that nobody really knows for sure how the public will react. You know, we like to think that we're beyond the War of the Worlds kind of thing where we'd freak out or religions would crumble. That was a study that was done in 1960 for NASA that said this is what would happen if a more advanced civilization were to confirm its existence here, is that social institutions would collapse. We've come a long way since then. Movies and TV and books and things, and we've acclimated ourselves to thinking about ETs from other planets. But what if that's not what they are? You know, what if it's something else, something more exotic, something really hard to get your head around? So I think there might have been good reasons to keep it secret right after World War II when the secrecy started. I don't know what the reasons are now, other than there are national security implications. There is a race for that technology. We really do have crashed saucers, and we're trying to reverse engineer them. That was my entry point to this topic, is starting with Bob Lazar and Area 51 and all that. And you know, that was pretty far out for ufology in those days, and now it's at the core of what we're trying to figure out. That's the core of the inquiries that are being made, and it seems like the public and whistleblowers aren't going to settle for anything less. Where are these saucers? The thing is, do we know for sure, even if we have bodies and crashed saucers, do we know for sure where they're from or why they're here? And I've been pretty far up the food chain, and I don't know anyone that knows for sure the answer to that.
Okay, let's go to the microphones.
Hi, my name's Will Gleiberman from Los Angeles and also from right here in Indio, California. And firstly, George and George, thank you. It's such an honor, both of you being here. Myself and my whole family have listened to you guys on Coast to Coast for so many years, and this is just truly wonderful to see you guys. So
It's great to be here, to see all of you.
Thank you. I've called into your show before too, so it's fun to actually talk to you guys here. But anyway, so my question, from what I've read and seen, so many different sources of all different types, everyone from someone like Bob Lazar to scientists and researchers like Michio Kaku. So many different people have talked about compartmentalization of knowledge being a big factor in why there hasn't been more disclosure for just people only knowing certain bits and pieces in the government projects they're working on or just anything. And I wonder if from your experiences and people you've spoken with, especially more recently, since the kind of, I guess, deluge recently of, you know, all the videos and partial disclosure, I don't know if that's the right term, but as that has increased, like inversely proportional to that, if you've seen a rise in compartmentalization, like of kind of a tightening of the noose, so to speak, to kind of combat that, like almost like they're releasing more things, but at the same time clamping down. So.
I think both are happening at the same time. You know, the releases ordered by the president kind of takes some of the steam, releases some steam, takes off some of the pressure, I think, and as I said before, has collected a much bigger audience than just UFO world, now think that the topic has some legitimacy because of that process.
And these files could have been released, George, years ago, because there's really not much in them.
Yeah,
right. The ones we've seen.
Yeah, you're right. I would give a shout out to my colleague Jeremy Corbell, who's worked really hard about identifying particular videos. We've released a lot of them. We get a lot of stuff, and it takes time to verify it and make sure it's legit and we're not being played. And he's got a new film that is going to debut here today that had 7 videos that have now been released. He put them in, weeks before they were officially released. But he compiled a list of 46 other videos that have been compartmentalized. They're on servers. Somebody can see it here, but over here they can't see it. And we told Congress where it is. And Congress alerted the Department of War, hey, we're coming for these. Nothing better happen to them. They better not disappear. So yeah, there are more videos coming out, and there is compartmentalization. And at the same time that information is being released, people like the whistleblowers that we heard from earlier today, Matt Brown and Dylan Borland and Chief Wiggins and others who would like to come forward are undergoing terrible treatment. Can't get jobs, lose their clearances, lose their livelihoods. They're living mouth to mouth or paycheck to paycheck that they don't have, and they don't know what their future is going to be. Their lives are on hold because they came forward and told the truth. And there are terrible things being done behind the scenes to them and others to intimidate them. I think they're being made an example so that other people don't come forward. I don't know how it's going to end. I know that a lot of people in Congress, Representative Luna and Burchett and Burleson in the House and others in the Senate, both parties, bipartisan, are deeply interested in this. We know Marco Rubio, when he was in the Senate, made these incredibly blunt statements that this is real and we need to dig into it and be honest. Now he's got like 5 other jobs in the Trump administration, but I wish they'd put him in charge of this because he knows stuff. He knows stuff. If they need somebody to coordinate the release of more information, he'd be a good guy to do, although he's a little bit tied up right now.